Everybody, today we are going to work on this cute shovel. I made one before and I want to make one of these for one of my friends. So we're going to do this. I thrifted this. It kind of looks like a little snow shovel, but that's okay. We're going to put a little bird nest and make a little shovel out of it. I'm Sheila from Sweetie's Creations and Decor. Be sure and hit that subscribe button. So we're going to take some paints, and I'll tell you what paints I used. So I'm going to start out with some gray, which is Foggy Martini by Pixie. So I'm just going to take that. You put it on a dry brush. This is one of the little inexpensive brushes. And I don't want this to be so shiny. So we're going to take down some of that shine by just pouncing some paint on here. You want it on the handle as well. Just going to pounce paint. And I kind of start out with a gray. Even though it is gray, it's going to make it look more rustic. So we're going to make, that's our point, is making it rustic. Welcome on in. I may not be able to see all of your comments, but I'm glad that you are here. And you can always watch a replay as well. So we're just going to take that and pounce it in. I'm not going to worry about the back right now. We just want to kind of get us a good little surface there. Now, I'm going to take another color of gray, which is a lighter gray, and that is Oreo Cookie. And it's kind of just a very light, creamy gray. You can take a little bit off if you want to. We're just going to take it, and we're just going to use different spots. We're not going to put it all in the same spot. And then we'll go back and we can keep using the same brush. So now I'm going to take a little bit of some black, which is my Licorice. I'm going to take a little bit of that black off. You don't want too much. Just a little black here and there. That's just going to kind of give it a little bit more of a rustic. I just keep pouncing this together. You see how now I'm pouncing it back in to not make that look so snowy. You want it to kind of blend. So there we go. See how I've got a little bit of black in there. All right. Now, we want to take a little bit and make it look a little bit more rusty as well. So we'll be working on that. First of all, let me put a little bit of white in there. And this is the Saltwater Taffy. It's just a beautiful white. You want a little white in there too. So just put you a little bit of that blended in places. And then you're going to go back over it with some more gray. So you just kind of keep using your colors and just keep making you just a little palette here with your different colors. And I want that gray. And if the gray's not dark enough, then you can add more black. Your point is just to kind of make it look like it's not a shiny surface. So you just keep adding till you kind of get it where you want. And then what happened with us, y'all? I have it on Do Not Disturb. So sorry about that. It's having as many problems as our other programs do, right? We just got to keep going. It just looked like it was something going on right there. I don't see a call, but it might just been a failure to work right then. So we're just going to put a little bit of cinnamon on it. And I'm going to put a little bit of my glue to put a cinnamon a little bit heavier there. And I'm just going to take just a little bit of glue. And I think we will take let me get another little brush here. Just going to take this little brush here. We're going to put a little bit of glue so that we can put a little bit more cinnamon on there. Let me pour a little bit of this glue out so I don't contaminate my glue. There, that'll work. Now, let's just put a little bit more in here. And that glue is going to help hold that cinnamon on our piece here. So I'm just going to take a little bit, and that's glue and water. I make my own paste. And we're just going to take and put a little bit right up in here. Now, when we put that cinnamon on, it's going to stick a little better. There we go. There you go. Now we're going to put some more rust up in here. So we're going to take a little bit more of that paint. Put it right up in here. Just a little bit of red, and then we're going to take a little bit of our orange, and we're just going to put a little bit of orange in there so that looks a little bit more rusted. Right in there. And then you have kind of a rusty, crusty, and we're going to put some in the middle too, like it's just an old rusted shovel we found. I'm going to hold this down, and I'm just going to pounce some right in here. Right up in here. And a little bit of that orange as well, so that a little bit more into it. And then I'm going to add just a tad more of that glue right up in here, so that when we put the cinnamon on there, it's going to kind of stick a little bit better. It will stick to the paint, but if you put a little glue, you're going to give it a little extra adhesion. Let's just sprinkle some on. There we go. Now we got our shovel kind of rusted up. And I'm just going to fold that over so that we can still use this. And we're going to put a little bit more paint on. So I'm going to take a little bit more of my gray and pounce that in right in. A little bit of cream looks like it's mixed in it, or white, and that's fine. We'll just put that in with it. And we'll put a little bit more over in here. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of that black. Take a little bit off. Just put a little bit more black in here. And now we've kind of got our rusty, kind of crusty shovel. Now you can go ahead and put some cinnamon on there. You can leave it just like that. Hey Teresa, hey Fatima, hey Cindy's Creations. Good to see you. Hello. Hey Victor, good to see you as well. All right, let's add just a little bit more of the Foggy Martini. Foggy Martini. Okay. I'm just going to pounce some off. You don't want too much. And then you're just going to add that gray back in some of your places. Just to add a little bit more. And then I will do the back as well. So there we go. We got our shovel. Let's now take a little bit of some of the chocolate souffle and a white, and let's go ahead and do our handle. I do want to make my handle a little brownish, so let's just take a little bit of it. Just put it on a wet wipe, and you're just going to kind of stain it with your wet wipe. You can also add a little brown in here, so we could add a little bit of that brown in there as well. And I'm just going to do the outside of my shovel and then probably go back and do right here in this little part of the handle. Let's get that part at least done. And so you can take a little bit of that brown. We have still a little bit left over here. We can take just a little bit of that brown, dab it off a little bit, and then just put a little bit more brown in places. Let's get a little bit of that off so we have a little bit more brown. And just put it all out on your palette and then just choose what you want. So you can put a little bit more brown up in here so that looks a little bit more old too. And that's all you're going to do to your handle is just use your paint. Make your handle have a color. Just like that. Well, welcome. It's good to see y'all as well. Thank you, Teresa. Have you ever seen that before? Here's the other one that I did. And I'm going to be making one just like that. And it's also on the back. So you can just do it however you want. That one's got a little bit more brown on it. So that's why I was saying I might add a little bit more brown here and there. And you can add it after you get your things on and you see that you need a little bit more. But you just play with it. Just do you some paints, get you an old brush. It doesn't have to be one of these, any kind of old brush, and then just make it look like it's old and it's not a brand new shovel. That's what we're doing, is a rustic vintage look today. All right, let me turn that back toward me and let me get that good and dry. Good to see y'all. So I will be going live more. As we have some changes on the other platform that I do, we will just be doing some more of the YouTube and some more videos. I do collaborate with some friends. And we're going to use one of these half of a peat pots, and we're going to use that for a little bird nest. We will need to, you're using metal. You do need to use 2 types of glue because your hot glue will not hold this permanently. I'm deciding if we're going to put it on the side or in the middle. And so I'm thinking we might just put it right in here. So let's use a little bit of our quick and thick glue. Quick and thick glue. Let's put it on. But let's leave some spots for our hot glue. And this quick and thick is going to give it a good hold. And then your hot glue is just going to give it a hold for right now. But if you don't use both glues, it'll probably pop off of metal. I'm just going to put a little bit here and there. Yeah, I think y'all can also give me a little heart on there if you can. Give me a little heart. And I'm going to put that right there. That's going to hold. We're going to put some moss in it. Put a little moss in there. And put some of this moss and maybe a little bit of green moss. And I'm also going to put some more around here. So I'm going to go ahead and be putting some of that on. Now the hot glue will hold this pretty well, but I do go ahead and stick a little bit of glue under it when I get through. I go ahead and put a little bit more of that Quick Bond just to make sure that it's going to give it a good hold. So let's go ahead and put some grass in here. And I'm just going to use like some of this green. And I'm going to put a little bit up on our little piece there where it kind of just meets there and goes straight in. Let's put a little bit more. Right in here. That's just some of the reindeer moss. I may put a little bit more in here, but right now, let's see. We'll put a little bit of our, I think we'll put both. We're just going to pour some glue in there because you want to put your moss in there. And I love it sticking out. That is definitely my jam, is to have it kind of sticking out. Put a little bit of your green in there as well. I'll hold it where you can see it in just a sec. And there we've got a little place we can put our little bird. Now I'm hoping that this bird is not going to be too heavy. A little bit of that there. I think it's going to do fine. We may have to let that dry just a minute from the little pot. So we'll let that kind of dry while we work on some flowers and things over here. So we're going to put some little flowers on this part and some greenery. I've got some little greenery, some little blue flowers. These cute little blue ones here. We'll just cut some of those off. We do have one of these. Got a little white one, a little orange one. We'll just put some of those in, a little bit of greenery. All kinds of little greenery here. We'll put some of that in there. And we'll put a little bit more of this kind. And then we might put a little bit of this on there. Let's see. Oh, and here's a little pink flower. We'll put this little pink one in. And there's some little yellow. All right, let's put a little bit of this in. The Fatima, the little shovel was actually, it was thrifted. I don't know where it came from. It didn't have a tag on back that had anything on where it came from. But I did thrift it actually from my senior center. They get things in, and they had a little thrifted event, and I was able to get some of these there. So I don't know exactly. You could order it from somewhere like either Amazon or the factory direct.